Welcome to Bears in Exile. Today is Wednesday, June the 13th, and this is the market overview. Looking at the Dow, SPX, VIX, TNA, UUP, FXE, GLD, SLV, and whatever else we happen across. Okay, so today was pretty darn crazy. Market going this way and that way and every which way, and having a absolutely horrible last hour and a half, dropping 150 points off of its high, but rescuing itself at the very end, about 25 points. So, what can we see from all of this? Well, it's pretty crazy. You know, we're having such whipsaw where we are right now. Have a big up day, have a big down day, have a big up day, have a big down day. And the indicators are just taking a beating, especially in the 60-minute time frame where it makes everything look really bad, and then it whipsaws, and then it looks really good, and then whipsaws again. So it's kind of frustrating, but it is what it is at the moment. So what can we see today? Is there anything that we can get off of this which could be helpful? Well, today we ended with a spinning top. And we were saying last night that we finally were coming against the long-term moving average bar the correct way, which was marching on up, and but that we did not exceed the previous high area, which should have been resistance, even though we had already pierced it once. And we stopped right at those long-term moving averages. Today we got into them slightly and decided to back away. Beyond that, so spinning top, we don't like spinning tops. We're sitting on the bar, which is natural. That's good. 14-day RSI moving average is still moving up. Very, very good. Very good. Stochastics have once again turned, pointing down. CCI, RSI, CSI. Anyway, slight tick down on both of them. MACD itself ticking up. MACD histogram ticking up. Overall, I would say definitely more bullish than bearish, but not by a huge margin. I wish there was something more definitive to go off of right there, but it just isn't. 60-minute time frame, what can we see? Well, we can see lots of things. For one, we have the potential for a head and shoulders top 60-minute time frame. That would be horrible, and it would be a drop of about 250 points from this area here, taking it down to about 12,150. Might as well round it off and say it's this down here. Last night we were pointing out the possibility for inverse head and shoulders, where we're not precisely sure which shoulders are the ones in effect. But regardless, that is still a possibility. It's still not busted. And we would have to climb a decent amount to trigger it, somewhere above the 12,600 area. And beyond that 60-minute time frame, we don't have agreement in the CCI RSI. RSI going up, CCI going down. 14-day RSI moving average moving down slightly. Down on the stochastics, not yet low, but not too far away. The MACD is pointing down. MACD histogram is slanting down, and you could very easily get a positive divergence should we get some more follow through to the downside tomorrow. And it will be extremely important if this is indeed a small head and shoulders in the 60-minute time frame. So all kinds of things just kind of stacked on one another. Just need one to fall over and have a little domino effect go into effect. One thing on the inverse head and shoulders, larger one, 60-minute time frame, we really should have a larger shoulder here. It should actually be larger than this one, but we currently don't have that. Does that mean that the fall tomorrow would set that up? Possibly, so long as it doesn't take this out. But at least the neckline is really clean. So positive, negative, we have both. Moving on to SPX, all down 9.5 points roundabout, ending with a spinning top. Don't like spinning tops. And it kissed the long-term moving average bar. Not the strongest long-term moving average bar, but nonetheless, people are afraid. There was a slew of negative news this afternoon, which really put the screws to the rally. Beyond that, we have downticks on the CCI and the RSI, down on the stochastics, down on the MACD histogram. I really don't like that, but it is what it is. Up on the MACD itself, and up on the 14-day RSI moving average. I wish this one would hurry up and get above the 20 so we could have some real movement, but it's still down here. It is what it is. And of course we're stuck in this little range thingy. We have OPEX on Friday. Maybe it's just going to be pinned there until that point. We certainly would be nice to have a better move, but we'll see what happens. 60-minute time frame. Head and shoulders, possible top. It's not. I mean, I guess it's close enough to be clean. For it to get higher than the left shoulder, really runs the risk of it taking out the top, and it's very unlikely for to hit that on the dot. You'd have to go up to 1330 and essentially turn around instantly. Certainly that's possible, but And there is the inverse head and shoulders. It'd be nice if that were to trigger. But once again, we have a push-pull. Down on the CCI RSI, down on the stochastics, notice it's getting right to the 14-day RSI moving average, which is pointing down. Down on the MACD, down on the MACD histogram, yeah, it's not attractive in the 60-minute. Not that that has mattered too much the last 3 market days. And how about something really ugly? Here we go, the VIX. Up in the high 24s. Last night we were talking about how nice it was to be in the low 22s. That is totally gone. And it didn't even touch the long-term moving average bar, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now, there is one positive thing about this, which is we did the gap fill today. So this sucker is done. You can put a fork in that, and that gap is finished. In case you're subscribing to gap theory and wondering when is that going to go away. Well, now it's gone away. CCI RSI moving on up. 14-day RSI moving average moving on down. Stochastics racing up to meet it, not far away. The MACD histogram ticking up. Not a good sign. Don't like that. Not that individual upticks or downticks have meant that much the past few days. This has just been a mess. So really less to go on in that regards. Got an uptick on the MACD today. Don't like that really, but it is what it is. And you can look at this and say, oh, we have a head and shoulders top. It's possible. I mean, we've said in the past we made a new high over here. At some point it would need to be retested. Hopefully fail before it gets to that point, or at least creates a double top. That's still a huge ways away from where we are now, which would be horrible for the market bulls. But the potential does exist, so can't just forget about it because we don't want to. Head and shoulders here would be really awesome, and it would have a pretty darn clean neckline. Boy. Which would be like $8, which would take the sucker down to about $12. That, in this environment seems impossible, but that is what this would say if that were to play out. 60-minute time frame. Look at that amazing wrap today. It started off so promising and just went boop, way up. Huge move. 12% move in a single day. Just incredible. Beyond that, what do we have? Well, we have the CCI getting high, turning around. We have the RSI ticking down. We have the stochastics and the 14-day RSI moving average very high. We have up movement on the MACD histogram, up movement on the MACD. And while this could be broken, we do have negative divergence currently, which isn't the greatest. I mean, it would only go back to just under 24 to work itself off. But nonetheless, some very high readings. Certainly there's more room for it to move, and we're going to have to see what happens. Certainly don't want to see it go back to 28. It'd be a disaster to see it take out the top, but we will see what happens. And excuse me, TNA. We were noting last night that TNA was not following the Dow and SPX in the size of its move and in relation to its position in the chart, and we didn't like that. Yeah, today got worse, ending with a big spinning top. Don't like spinning tops. Down on the CCI and the RSI, down on the stochastics, down on the MACD histogram. Don't like that. And slightly up on the MACD and up on the 14-day RSI moving average. Boy, if the 14-day decides to roll over, go sideways over the next few days, game over for the bulls. But yeah, this is a pretty weak looking chart. Don't like it. Down in the 45s once again. Is there anything positive here? In the daily, not really. Beyond the 14-day RSI moving average. 60-minute time frame. Is this one done? Well, we have down movement on the MACD histogram, down on the MACD, down on the 14-day RSI moving average, down on the stochastics, down on the CCI, up on the RSI. And to me, this is not a clean head and shoulders. If you were looking at this and saying, "Oh, we have a shoulder head," shoulder? I mean, come on. You do have the potential inverse head and shoulders, which this one has a more interesting, a much more interesting neckline, much higher than here. And beyond that, you have potentially another inverse head and shoulders here today. Let me check the volume and make sure that it is decreasing. Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. That's nice. So, excuse me. So, shoulder, head, shoulder. Notice this one is actually in the correct positioning for an inverse head and shoulders, but and this shoulder is on decreasing volume. So, that's actually pretty interesting. Not that the neckline is very clean. Neckline is pretty screwed up, if you ask me. But anyway, so many potentials. So many potentials. ComQ, the NASDAQ. This one we noted last night, just like TNA, was not formed, was not in the correct position going with the Dow and SPX. And ugly day today. It's an inside candle, spinning top, both negative. CCI RSI ticking down, stochastics ticking down, MACD histogram ticking down, 14-day RSI moving average moving up, along with the MACD itself. Not an attractive chart. And 60-minute time frame, it's just like all of the others, with the exception of the 14-day RSI moving average moving up. That's really cool. And if we can get a curl on the stochastics and move up, it'll join it. So long as we can maintain the angle of this, could have a decent move on the way up for the NASDAQ, which is actually really encouraging. Yes, it is a little bit of a stretch. And XOY, when the market is bullish, when oil is bullish, the market is bullish. And today oil had a really nice open and just fell back. Spinning top, didn't reach the long-term moving average bar. MACD histogram ticking down, terrible. Stochastics down, CCI down, RSI down, 14-day RSI moving average moving up. MACD itself moving up. So the game isn't over, but certainly not attractive. Um, Apple. Apple's been hanging out really darn good. Had the hammer yesterday, spinning top today, down on the MACD histogram. Really don't like that, but it is what it is. MACD itself leveling out, up on the 14-day RSI moving average, down on the stochastics, down on the RSI, sideways on the CCI, sitting on the bar. As long as it doesn't get below that, good. But not overly attractive. XLF, the financials, really strong day until it all fell apart. Almost getting to the bar, and getting right to the previous resistance level. Even though it's been pierced, it's been hit a couple of times. It looks like it's attempting to reassert itself to some degree. MACD histogram moving up, good. MACD up, good. 14-day RSI moving average up, good. Down on the stochastic, up on the CCI, and slightly down on the RSI. This is actually much better than most things tonight. Matter of fact, JP Morgan. Yeah, why not? At its height, this one had a truly impressive day. Made a new recent high. Makes me kick myself that I got rid of mine last week. But that happens. You can see the MACD histogram still moving up. MACD up. 14-day RSI moving average up. Stochastics down. Up on the RSI. Up on the CCI. A nice looking chart. New recent high. It should be retested at some point, if not exceeded. And very nice. This one is strong enough to take the whole market with it, and which did happen during the first half of the day, roundabout. And how about the USO? This one has been horrible. I'm actually in this one. Hope I don't have to dump it. I only bring it up simply because it's a closer read of oil in the United States. Tomorrow is OPEC's big meeting, and hopefully they're going to be cutting production, which should be entirely possible. Other than that, it looks to me like a very positive setup. It does have a new recent low in the last couple of days, which should be retested, and I don't want it to be retested, but it'll probably be retested. Ending today with a inverse hammer, possibly gravestone, close enough to the bottom of a range where, yeah, maybe that will matter. It's pretty weak, kind of stretching it. CCI, RSI, sideways. 14-day RSI moving average, ticking on up. Stochastics down, getting pretty darn low. All kinds of positive divergence going back a couple of weeks. And looking for a bullish cross on the MACD. So this one is very, very interesting to me. And I do think that if we have the proper news, going back up for a bar retest would be totally awesome. 34, even a bubble retest just above 32. And anyways, this one would also help the market quite a bit if it could just get a bid. And the star of the show, UUP. Very interesting. We noted in the daily running thread that the market was not following the dollar. Dollar was down today, pretty darn good, especially at its lows. It made a new recent low today, and market should have been up really good on that. But instead, the market decided to do its own thing, and by the end of the day, it had retraced quite a bit. I mean, how many pennies? 6 pennies. So, CCI RSI going on down. 14-day RSI moving average moving down. Stochastics down. MACD down. MACD histogram down. This is a beautiful chart for UUP going down to either this level or this level. And for some reason, well, it's taking its time, but positive developments today. The market just needs to abide by them. And hopefully this doesn't stinking reverse here. Since it made a new recent low, you could say that maybe this is the bottom of a range, bottom of a movement, potential reversal candle. Certainly hope that that's not the case, but it is possible. FXE, the euro. This one's real positive too. It didn't make a new recent high, but it was pretty darn strong off of the day. Notice its positioning relative to yesterday. Big move up, and the markets were down a good amount. That doesn't jive. 14-day RSI moving average moving up, stochastics up, CCI RSI up, histogram up, MACD up. This looks like a nice chart, and we've already had the bubble corrective move play out more than a week ago. So the next logical place would be a bar retest at 126, and I don't know how the market would be able to not pay attention to that, but I guess we will see. They did downgrade Spain again today, so but even with that, it was still able to be green. So I look at that as a positive thing. GE trying to get a better read on the Dow. Yeah, notice how this one doesn't look anything like the Dow. And we made a new recent high today. Very positive. CCI RSI ticking down slightly. Stochastics rolling over. 14-day RSI moving average moving on up. Histogram moving up. MACD moving up. This isn't a bad looking chart. And its next logical place would be up here, just shy of 20. That'd be a great move, and hopefully the Dow will follow suit. Hopefully he'll get up there, and we shall see. GLD. Yeah, look at that. Hammer. MACD histogram ticking up. 14-day RSI moving average moving up. Stochastics moving up. CCI RSI moving up. This is a nice looking chart deep into the long-term moving average bar, which is bearish. Short-term moving average is getting into it. This is going to take some real damage. Not a bad looking chart. Needs to retest the previous high, and it should, since it's new. SLV, nowhere near as strong, but you can see the pivot points here ascending. This is probably going to form into a pivot here, which means that we'll have another pivot high. Question is, how high can it get? Can it take out this previous high? It's a good distance away, and we're barely fighting with the first long-term moving average. But 14-day RSI moving average moving up, stochastics moving up, CCI moving down, RSI moving up, MACD histogram ticking down, MACD moving up. It's just a lot of little whipsaw here. I really hope it can get some penetration, do some damage here. Just too early. And I think that's just about it. Very interesting day. The bulls are not finished. The bears are also not finished. We don't have a victor on either side. We have pros and we have cons for both. We have the elections this weekend in Greece, and we have OPEC on Friday, and we have OPEC tomorrow. So, NDE rich environment. What can you say? As always, all investing decisions are your own. This chart and video for entertainment, educational, and consumption of time purposes only. Thank you.